I just got done wrapping up a short film that we filmed with a phone. Not only was it a really fun project to be a part of, it was also a great learning experience. So that's what I kind of want to talk about in this video today. It's just everything that I've learned from working on the short film and how my experience was filming with a phone. But before we dive into all of that, I'd like to thank the sponsor of this video, Snapdragon. This whole project was just to showcase the capabilities of the new Snapdragon X Elite, which is a crazy new processor. This whole short film was shot on Snapdragon and even edited on a new Snapdragon Windows laptop. We'll get into all the nitty-gritty details later in this video, so make sure to stick around to learn all about that. Okay, so the story behind this short film is about a guy who's sitting at a park having a conversation with a girl he never went up to talk to. So he's having regrets, still thinking about this girl, the one that got away. That's what we're calling this film. And he's kind of envisioning what would have happened, what he wished would have happened if he would have just went up and talked to her. The phone that I used for this short film was the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra. So every single shot was shot on this using the Pro video mode. I think it's really cool that the barrier to entry has become so low. If you have a phone and a great story to tell, then you are more than capable of making a film on your own. In fact, I would much rather take the phone right here versus my first probably 2 or 3 cameras that I own. So like I said, there's a ton of pros and cons with using this phone, so I'm just gonna kind of rip through them right now. Okay, now this first one is kind of specific to the Samsung Galaxy S24, but it's an incredible feature. I'm so stoked with this feature, and that's the Pro video mode. So in this mode, you can adjust the ISO, you can adjust the shutter speed, you can adjust the white balance. Now, the one downside to this is you can't adjust the aperture, which does kind of suck, but you can pretty easily find some ND filters online. I just got these ones off Amazon, and if I can get it out of the case. And basically they just snap right onto this case. If you really want to capture that cinematic look and capture the natural 24 frames a second, low shutter speed feel, then you're pretty much going to need some ND filters. Another thing that I did on top of the ND filters is I actually attached a mist filter over top of it. I just personally think that a lot of times phones have a much sharper look than they should, and I just like my footage to feel a little bit softer. A few more pros, these ones are kind of obvious, but it's just so small and lightweight and easy to carry around. It's also so easy to use, which is actually a big problem that I run into a lot when I'm shooting with bigger professional cinema cameras, is that I need someone to operate those cameras if I'm the one in the video. So if you're someone in that boat who doesn't have, an experienced videographer there to help you out, that could be a really great reason to just use a phone. Just any one of your friends can help you out with the project. Now, some of the biggest challenges that I was faced with when shooting with the phone was the lenses and the focusing, which neither of those are problems when you're shooting farther away from a subject, but where we were shooting up close talking scenes, I did run into a little bit of distortion on the lens. So what I did to kind of counteract that is I shot a little bit farther away and then just punched in. And we were shooting on 4K, and even with punching in, the footage still looks very, very good and sharp. Now, the focus was a little bit tricky. For the most part, it did a really good job, but I did notice, especially for the shot of me, that with the tree so close behind me and myself, it was almost impossible to tell if I was in focus or not. It just looked like everything was in focus. And I really wasn't able to tell that I actually was out of focus until I got home, looked on the computer, and realized that I was slightly blurry. Now, one thing that was an absolute game changer for this video wasn't actually any of the gear that we used, but was the bench we were sitting on. So when we were location scouting for this film, we were having the toughest time finding a bench that sat correctly in the position that we needed it to, so that the lighting would hit us the way we wanted it to. So we had the bright idea of just going on Facebook Marketplace and buying a bench. That way we could just place it wherever we wanted. We were actually able to stretch out the amount of time we could film because we could just move the bench around and chase the light to wherever it looked best. We actually used this same technique for the library scenes because the library set that we were shooting at was kind of difficult. The lighting wasn't the best in there, and we didn't have a lot of shooting angles to play with. So that's a little bit about how I filmed this short film. Now I want to transition into how I edited this short film using the power of a Snapdragon processor. And this processor is so powerful and so small that allows you to have a computer this thin. I mean, I've made pancakes thicker than this computer. It really is just unbelievably thin and lightweight. So one of the coolest features for video editors specifically is that DaVinci Resolve actually runs natively on the Snapdragon X Elite processor, which allows DaVinci Resolve to use the full power of the Snapdragon X Elite NPU for AI features like Magic Mask, which if you're someone like me who had no idea what the Magic Mask feature was just a few months ago, let me explain it to you real quick because it's absolutely insane. Okay, so we're here in DaVinci Resolve, and if we head down to the color tab and then go to this Magic Mask icon, which by the way, the Magic Mask feature is powered by AI running on Snapdragon's NPU. All you have to do is just draw on the person or object you want to be masked. And just like that, DaVinci will automatically put a mask perfectly around your subject. Now we can see over here that it kind of blended into these books a little bit. So if we just hold Alt, then we can just make a little line and get rid of all of that section. For this short film in particular, I actually wanted to invert the mask. So I'll come down and click this icon right here, invert mask, and now my mask is on the background. And I'm just gonna bring the lightness down. Don't want it to be too dramatic, I still want it to feel natural. And we can really focus on making Allie pop out and glow on the video. Now, if I wanna take this even one step further, I can open up nodes and turn on effects and drag a Gaussian blur right onto my clip, and now only my background is blurry. Obviously, this is a little too intense, but if we just add a little bit to where it feels natural, we can kind of mimic the look of a professional camera. So it's a pretty sweet feature. You can get really creative with it, easily add text behind yourself and stuff like that. It's new features like these that make me feel so sad just knowing how much time I've spent trying to perfectly mask around a person frame by frame by frame, and now it's just a click of a button. On top of all of that, the battery life is also substantially increased, which again, for someone like me who likes to travel a lot, I also like going and working at coffee shops and just getting out of the house, so there's not always outlets available to me, so longer battery life is something I will never complain about. This has really been a game changer for Windows ever since Qualcomm released this Snapdragon X Elite. We're getting better performance, long-lasting battery life, and AI experiences you can only get on Snapdragon. So if you want to learn more about Snapdragon or the devices that are powered by Snapdragon, make sure to check out the link in the description box below about everything you need to know down there. So am I gonna go sell all my cameras now and only shoot with a phone from now on? Probably not, but that's not the point of this video. The point is that it's possible to create incredible work with only a phone and using minimal gear. In fact, I bet there'll be a ton of people that watch this short film and don't even realize it was shot on a phone. They'll just figure that I shot it on a camera. So yeah, I guess the point of this video is don't overthink it. Get out there, shoot some films, make some art, and tell some stories. Peace.